What's going on, guys? Been getting banged up. Well, not banged up. I've been losing. My lineups haven't been terrible. It's been one person in my lineups that have been terrible the last couple nights. Brutal. So I'm in the midst of watching the Denver Minnesota game, guys. Yeah, Mahimi, dude. Ugh. It was terrible. Wasn't supposed to go down that way. Hey, Michelle. Loyal viewer. Loyal viewer. I love a loyal viewer. You still haven't sent me my inbox message, Michelle. Thought we were gonna flirt a little bit. And that never came to fruition. Am I not handsome enough for you? Am I not handsome enough for you, Michelle? Look at me, look, wait. I'm gonna give you a hey, Michelle. One, Collison and Nelson seem like locks. I agree. Fuck Mahimi, I also agree. Collison's starting for Rondo. Oh, yeah, man. I'm glad you stayed away from Mahimi. At least I stayed away from the Wizard shit show last night. Yeah, I mean, sometimes knowing who to put in is just as important as knowing who not to put in. I mean, if you filter through my picks and all the things I say, guys, you will be able to build a winning team. It's just if you have to agree with me in like, 3 or 4 places and then disagree with me in like two and then just nail your two and then you're good. Because I'm always right around, what am I supposed to be? I'm happy you did well, Guma. Tonight, we are dealing with a short slate. And you would think a short slate would be easy, but it's a little tough today. Obviously, I like Collison. Obviously, I like Nelson. But you got to get contrarian somewhere, you know? So that's the situation. I'm watching the. It's just rubbing against my shirt. I'm watching the Denver game right now when they played Minnesota a couple days ago. And Kevin Martin got quite a few open looks they just didn't drop. So I'm thinking I may do one lineup that has Kevin Martin in it instead of Jameer Nelson. Like pivot at the guard for all the people to put Nelson in the guard spot. And then, because he shot and he didn't shoot very well, but he got the opportunity. And that could happen again. So I kind of like that pivot. A couple guys I'm taking in cash that are cheaper are Jameer Collison, Crowder, and Ariza. Like any of the guys in GVP. Yeah, I like them all in GVP. It's a short enough slate where, yeah, I mean, it's going to be come down to picking the right, expensive guy. Oh, inbox message. Is this from you, Michelle? It is not. Blum blum blum. Blum blum blum. Blum blum blum. Blum blum blum. Anyone know what that's from? Blum blum blum. Blum blum blum. It's music from a Fox show that is no longer on the air. They hang their head, they walk away, and they go. Music plays. Blum blum blum. Blum blum blum. When they're sad. I'm thinking about Olynyk today. I think Monroe is in the list of the must plays. I mean, Lakers are so bad against bigs. I love targeting them. Olynyk is yes, Arrested Development. Ding ding, Justin Schneider. Um, so what the hell was I talking about? Um, Monroe is, I feel like a must play, but I am flirting with the idea of getting Olynyk in either at the utility or maybe going away from Monroe in one of my lineups to do Olynyk, because it all comes down to whether or not I think that game is going to be a shootout within itself. You know, it's not a very high over under. I mean, it's over 200, but when you've got that Houston Sacramento game, I mean, it may as well be a 184 over under. Um, but if that game needs scoring, then I think Olynyk. I couldn't pull the trigger on Olynyk against Golden State, and I really wanted to, and I had him in 3 lineups. And in my tournament, nobody had him at all. So just the balls it would have taken to roll $3,000 lineups with Olynyk as my center and then have him go off for 47 was just ooh. Mwah. Cavs got payback on Olynyk. What does that mean? Montehunis is about to get off tonight. Go off tonight. Are you saying this or are you saying this? Is he gonna go off or is he gonna get off? I do like Montehunis, but I got to get that information. He took out Love last year. Okay. So that maybe points to Love trying to get after it, or Linux just getting on the court because fuel the fire of the rivalry. But I didn't know that they are at home. I don't know. A might make his way into one something. Dang or no, I hate him, Michelle. I hate him. You've made me hate him. Who are your top guys in the Kings Rocket shootout? I mean, there's really not much to talk about. It's more about let's just talk out here who it is we want, because the the fact of the matter is I'm not gonna tell you guys anything you don't know. It's Harden Harden, Collison, and Cousins, but then you got LeBron sitting there, who's far and away the best play at the small forward. So it's like, how do you can't get all three of them, and you might not even really be able to get two of them with a team that looks that great. I mean, yes, you could put Jameer Nelson in, yes, you could put Collison in together, yes, you could put Montehunis in, and then you can get to those people. But just because they're cheap guys doesn't mean they're going to score 20, 25 points. You need to, in your tournaments, you need to get to 340, 320, 315. 360s is 180, and then 520s is 280. It's not enough, is my point. I mean, you could do it. You could fade Collison. But I feel like you fade Collison with Nelson. Like, I feel like most people are going to go Nelson Collison. But you the way you fade Collison is by just not taking him and putting in Nelson and then paying up to find someone that you can put at the guard position that you think is going to outplay Collison point production by double. If you got Collison penciled in for 30, you got to find some guy who could possibly go for 55 or 60 at that position, which now puts you on Harden. But Harden's not a secret either. You know what I mean? It's tough. I think Caspi goes under own tonight. That's what I think. Rubio for a triple double night? I don't know about that. If I had to pick, I'd rather fade Nelson. Right. I agree with that. But I think most people are going to do both. Shumpert, I can't play Shumpert. Not tonight. I can't get down on Shumpert. So I really haven't locked my lineup in. I'm still building it. I'm looking at Will Barton, who will probably be a popular play considering last night. But for less money, Kevin Martin, he did the same thing. Now, granted, they played 41 minutes. That game must have gone to overtime because I'm watching it now, but I haven't seen. Let me look here. Let's see if we can get some analysis. Yeah, it went to OT. It went to OT, and let's look at the box score for these guys. Wiggins had a good day. I don't even know why they even play Garnett. Are those 11 minutes really vital to his? Kevin Martin, and a lot of his shots were shit. Rubio had a decent game, but not at his first one. And then on the other side of it, let me see here. Gallinari went ham. Fareed, not so much. I don't know if I like Fareed tonight. And here's the thing. Jameer Nelson wasn't even starting and had a nice game. So I like Nelson. Will Barton also had a good game. But where the hell is it? Jokic too, man. There's a lot. There's a lot of people from this game that you could put in where maybe you don't need. There's a lot of value at center. I'll just put it that way. What about Lavernier? I'm not sure. Middleton is an interesting play. Mclemore went off against Houston last time too. I know there's a lot of shit going on, man. He's a pivot. I wouldn't make one lineup with him on it. I rather for this guy on Twitter, I would rather have David Lee than Georgie Dang. I hate Dang. I hate him so much. I like Fareed in that game also. I don't really like Fareed. Yeah, Montejunas is another piece of value that I think is going to be popular and I think is good. I don't know if he played every minute of OT, but still 35 min games. Yeah, it's what games do I play on PS4? Call of Duty. I like to play zombies. I'm not very good at multiplayer, but I'm really good at zombies. We should play sometime. Who had? Oh right, they had back-to-back OT games. As a Kings fan, I have Cassie in most of my lineups. He's too efficient. He really is. What's up, Jared Jones? Don't know. I don't like Shumpert. Macklemore in the Sacramento game. I mean, yeah. I just don't know if that's like that would be your pivot. Instead of going, and we all know that Collison, Jameer Nelson, its point guard is just going to be so muddied up with all this value that, and Seth Curry, there's some merit there too, man, because he's going to get bench minutes, so tonight's really tough, and it shouldn't be, but it is. I think maybe not playing any of the high-priced guys could be the route. A lot of value at center. You consider not rostering Boogie. How can I not roster both sides of the Houston game? I could see having one lineup if you're doing three. I'm doing three tonight. So when you're doing three, you can kind of throw one away, even though it's $1,000 for me. So I don't know if I really want to. I've been getting banged up, dude. I've lost 10 grand in the last 3 days, 4 days. It's been a fucking nightmare. But that's how it goes. Am I considering it? Maybe. He doesn't make it into one. Maybe. Do you read Daenerys? Cleveland Boston be physically based on last game when Love Crowder got hurt. Yeah, I do. I think narratives play only in basketball. I don't think narratives play in any other sport. I really don't. Unless in football after like a death, or something. Like if fantasy football was a thing, not to be a dick, but when Favre's father died and he played on Monday night, I'd have put Favre in, 100%. Like things like that are that was just a really emotional moment. Like a player like Favre, and his like if Archie Manning, died or something, I'd put Eli in or Peyton or lineups with both of them. That's one of those things where it's like let's do it for dad. Let's do it. You're going through a lot of emotions, and a lot of times players tend to step up and do amazing things when that happens. Like John Wall with the little girl that that passed. I hate to benefit from those kinds of things, but those are the things that in sports really change things and do something to the player inside where they want to rise to this occasion and put on for the person. So, and in basketball, it happens all the time. In other sports, it has to be something like life altering, for the player or for the team, death of a coach. A lot of times, death. But in basketball, it could just be he invited his boys and they're all sitting courtside. You know, Brewer or Thornton. I mean, I don't know why you're looking at either of them. Thornton, McLemore. So yeah, I mean, this isn't any. You're not learning anything you don't know tonight on this show, guys. There is no. Oh, I like this guy, and I like this. Like, yes, it's Cousins, it's Harden, it's Barton, it's don't really like Fareed. So if I could talk anybody off anybody of all these people that we're obviously talking about, Fareed. No one's talking about LeBron James. He's going under the radar tonight. Like, here are the people that could win you tournaments because no one's talking about them. LeBron, Kevin Love, Isaiah Thomas because of all the value that's going to be used at point guard. Towns. It's all these names that you're overlooking tonight. But I can't put any of them in either. I don't have the stones to do it either. Like Matt Barnes when he plays the Knicks, that they're not playing. They're not part of the situation. Who's your top power forward tonight other than Boogie? So if you're not playing Boogie, then you've got to take. I mean, you got three. You got three choices essentially. You got Kevin Love in the apparently the Revenge You Hurt Me game. You've got Jabari Parker against the Lakers suck game, and Montehunis. If you start, you got three people. Everyone else is dog shit. I mean, I guess you could play Julius Randle, but I wouldn't. For me, it's DeMarcus Cousins and then Love, Jabari, Montehunis. Running any Bucks tonight? Probably not. Thoughts on Giannis Antetokounmpo? It's hard to put people in your lineup that are not because the minute you look at Antetokounmpo, okay, who I also like, but 6,800, and then I look down and I see Omri Caspi in the over 240 game or the over 220 total game, 219 at 5,600, getting all kinds of run and all kinds of usage with a Rondo who's not fucking there. Like, that's, I can't take my eyes off it. I can't take my eyes off it. Just can't. So I can't Giannis. I mean, I'm looking for any way to not have to do all these things that everyone's gonna do. Like I'm looking at point guard, and I'm going, okay, so Rondo's out. So now immediately everyone's looking at Collison and Nelson. All right, those are your 2 point guards, right? So who do I think can score better than Collison? If Collison is a point per minute guy essentially, and he's going to play 30 minutes, so this guy's going for 30 points. He's 6xing his salary tonight. Like in theory, let's talk it out, guys, because I still haven't picked who I'm doing yet. Um, no, OJ Mayo is he's in my mind. But once again, with the prices and everything, it's there's so much value that. So let me finish talking this out. So I'm looking at Collison and I'm locking him in mentally for 30 points, right? Rubio, when he played Denver, he scored 30. He's a guy that goes for 38 on his best day. He's more expensive. There's no reason to go there. Isaiah Thomas is a person that's got 48 point upside here. I'm seeing 40, 50. Okay. Now, that's if he goes 45, that's not going to be 6x on his salary. It's going to be shy of it a little bit, but or actually 40, but it's still 10 points more than we project Collison. And it's all about scoring the most points. I feel like MCW will be under owned and could have a 40-point game. I have a bad feeling about Collison underperforming. Yeah, there's a lot of that. So, unless you're taking Isaiah Thomas, and I guess Michael Carter Williams is a pivot too, but unless you're taking Isaiah Thomas, I don't see who's the person that you think is going to match Collison tonight. The same thing with Jameer Nelson. He's another 25 to with a massive upside that came. He scored 42 against Minnesota and played 38 minutes, and now he's getting that kind of run. How can you get away from him? How do you get away from him? I feel like he's almost a must play. It's gonna be a crazy night, guys. So I can't find anyone that's going to do better. Is my point in my projection. I just don't see how. There's nobody at point guard. There's no paying up for Russell Westbrook to be contrarian with all the value, and then hoping that they score 25 and 32, and he goes for 70, which would more than negate the total of those two players' scores. Because that's what you need. When you pivot from like low dollar value, you've got to add their scores together and go. Collison is 5,000 and Jameer is 4,500. So between the two of them, we're looking at let's call it 9,500. Well, I don't have to call it anything. I can call it exactly what it is. Let's call it 9,400, which is exactly what it is. And then there's no $9,400 player that you can play that can go for their combined total of a projection of 60. If there was somebody, I mean, I guess Thomas, but is he going for 60? Probably not. So you can't combine their two scores into one guy's score. When you can do that, you do that. To be fair, Ruby was in foul trouble last time he played. Yeah, but who's to say he won't be in foul trouble this time? They played the same way. Thoughts on Gary Harris? I got no thoughts on Gary Harris. Do you think trade rumors will affect Boogie's play? How so? What do you mean? That he may play harder or less hard, or I mean, when you say, do I think it'll affect it? I mean, obviously, you're asking me, do I think it'll affect it? And you're asking me if it's going to be positive or negative. But I really don't think it matters. I, I wouldn't change my plays as a result. Let me put it this way. Let's take a poll here. You've got 3 studs tonight. Who's the one stud you lose? You've got to take James Harden, Cousins, and LeBron James. You got to take 2 of them. Who gets tossed? Who do you toss in that situation, guys? Seriously. Who do you get rid of? Get rid of Harden in the major over-under game? In a game where the last time he played Sacramento, he went for 74 points. 74 points. And when he played Sacramento last season, if I could find it, where the hell are you? He's 69. And then he played Sacramento again, 57. And yeah, so is it that guy? You're going to fade all of them. So see here, it's Cousins, James, no brainer. LeBron is gone. But is it? But is it? Because let's look at LeBron. Let's look at a little LeBron. And apparently this anger you got my man hurt game that you're now telling about hasn't played Boston this season. Let's go see what they did last year. Boston, 58. 63. 53. I guess these are the playoff games because we're all right in a row. 42. But it's still Boston. It's still that 45. Is there another Boston game here? I'm running Boston 58. I mean, plays Boston all right. And there's less mouths to feed. Because if he wants to take over, he'll take over. And he'll shoot a shit ton of shots. And that's what he'll do. You know, say what you want about Love. Love's been not outstanding as of late. You know, his price is $8,000, which means he's got to get to 40 for 5x. And we're looking at a bunch of not 40s and a couple 16s and 20s. And that's with a healthy Kyrie. Yeah. There you go. So, oh, I watched Harden last night. Him really impressed me. And I always love Harden. So, I don't know, guys. Yeah, he would have been a good value player. So I'm going to jump off here, and I'm going to watch this Minnesota game, and I'm going to try to vet how these teams are playing each other. And then around 6:55 or so, I'll tweet out my plays on at DFS is fun. Yeah, but if we look at dollar per point, James is slightly under Monroe's projection on Rotogrinders and further under Monroe's projection on I drive. But who's to say you don't play them both? I guess that's my point. You know, like I like Monroe in pretty much all my lineups. But you get rid of Cousins or you get rid of Harden. I mean, that might be what I do. I might do like Harden Cousins, Harden James, James Harden. Bop, bop, bop. Sell out on Monroe. But right, it's gonna be a tough one, guys. I will tweet out my final way that I go, like 5 minutes before lineup. So you got to be looking at it and be ready for it. Maybe even like Actually, I'm gonna do it like 3 minutes before lineup because I'm rolling $3,000 lineups, and I don't need people out there that I know. I've got a feeling some of the people that join these tournaments are listening, so I really don't know where I'm going. Value at center, Cat or Monroe? Oh, would I rather go value center or Cat or Monroe? I, you got to understand in the tournament that I'm playing, guys. Jameer Nelson was 78% owned yesterday. So it plays a little more like a cash game. So I've got to project. I'm doing more of a projection of ownership. Oh, lock is at 7:30 tonight? Oh, sweet. Do all this research. I don't even look at when the game starts. Oh, okay, yeah. Then look for me around 7:25. Yeah, Fade Harden. Could. It's tough to do, but you can do it. I don't know, guys. Any more last minute questions? As of right now, I like everyone you guys like. I guess my sneaky plays. If you have the balls, this is how I can be useful. Here are the sneaky plays if you have the stones to do it. OJ Mayo, Kelly Olynyk, Kevin Love, Antetokounmpo, Wiggins. Like these are all the guys that have a chance to do something really great. And I kind of think Omri Caspi gets lost in the shuffle tonight with all this value at other positions. And then you go, well, I got to pay up somewhere. Like I can't have value everywhere. And then you end up paying up, for somebody else. So I'll put my post out later, guys. How about Mahimi last night? Oh God, it was the worst. That's why I lost. That's why I lost. Just got in. What do you think Schubert is worth tonight at 37? Who's my fade of the night? Fade of the night. My fade. I haven't decided yet. You'll have to look at the Twitter page. Preliminary fade of the night. I really don't know. I really, really don't know. But I feel confident being like, don't put Fareed. Fade Fareed. If Fareed is somehow getting in the conversation, fade him. Fade Fareed. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Later. Wait. Harden's shot not going down as frequently. Why fade Fareed? Because I'm watching this game, the Denver game, and he wasn't impressing me with his play. Plus, at the power forward position, I'd rather have Cousins. I mean, if you're not, and if the Houston news breaks, then I'd rather have Montejunas, in time. So, which you probably won't, but if you want to take that gamble there, I mean, yeah, Fareed's in play, but I just think I'd rather have someone who's not Fareed. From watching this Denver game, I'm not very impressed with how he played. So that's my opinion. Nance, you can put Nance in one lineup, no more. But listen, guys, I'm gonna go. At DFS is fun. I will tweet it out like 4 or 5 minutes before 7:30 lock. All right. So later, guys.